Kevin Feige said the word reset. After Secret Wars, the MCU isn't going away. They're not stopping after making a $2 billion movie. However, I believe it's getting the biggest cleanup in movie history, but a simple reset won't cut it. The MCU needs a vision, and I want the feeling I had growing up with Lego Marvel superheroes and the retro posters in my room. A universe where the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and the Avengers all exist perfectly side by side, in their brightest, boldest, most comic accurate costumes. A universe where everything is possible, where we can see characters we've all loved since we were children interact with each other. A new generation can enjoy a completely new story with these characters, whilst us who love the MCU can get a follow up that might be even better. All of this starts with not making it a cash grab. They could very easily just throw random actors into big roles and start doing massive events from the beginning. But I don't want to see Civil War as the 8th movie in a rebooted universe. Make it the 45th. We don't need to see the origins of our heroes again. Just a slow burn, showing love to their creators, adapting comic storylines, and keeping them as grounded and focused as possible. This isn't just a complete reboot as well. The MCU has built up characters for years. We finally got Miss Marvel. They can't just throw her away after 2 appearances. She needs to be there from the beginning, not in 10 years we can see a new version of her. Of course, she doesn't have to appear in every project. Maybe just a mention or her running a website in universe that we can see online. The MCU has managed to make a couple of good storylines during these past few years, and characters such as Yelena and Kate Bishop have grown into fan favorites. These characters shouldn't just be thrown away because the castings are perfect and their tone and backstories have been very well utilized, and they're kind of integrated into the main fold of the current MCU. The cleaning is more focused on erasing confusing, low impact arcs like Secret Invasion and the Scar introduction in She Hulk, for example. It allows the MCU to contain a more consistent tone and focus on stories that have earned investment from the audience. And it would be very weird of them to recast Clint and Natasha before the first Avengers movie and not just use Kate Bishop and Jelena when their storylines so far have been so good and so well received. Reboot discussions always revolve around Marvel's biggest properties, such as the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and Hulk. But the global success of the MCU has fundamentally shifted the hierarchy, elevating the Avengers to an essential fifth position. We must acknowledge that the founder members of the Avengers in the MCU, like Iron Man, are now as famous as any X-Men or Fantastic Four member. To honor their iconic status while distinguishing a new universe, we need a commitment to occasional solo films for the Avengers members such as Iron Man, Hulk, and Captain America. These won't be annual releases, but stories that validate their place in this new MCU's Big Five. The new MCU must also embrace vibrant comic accurate suits from day one. We must abandon the era of muted colors and realistic designs that stripped away iconic imagery. Our heroes should look bold, distinct, and be immediately recognizable, jumping off the comic pages onto the big screen as they are meant to be. We've seen the reception from fans on recent suits in the MCU that have been loved by everyone, such as the new Spider-Man suit in Brand New Day. Everyone's hyping it up and saying that the most real and comic book accurate Spider-Man suit yet. And to execute this vision, the MCU needs to focus on two things: finding great writers and pairing them with directors who genuinely love the material, such as the proven talent in Destin Daniel Cretton or the duo in Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. The original MCU spent years building its connections. This new MCU needs to feel established and alive from day one. Characters should already be operating, and the world should reflect that. We shouldn't need endless exposition on these heroes, and the universe should show itself in these movies. Here, heroes have been around for centuries. Iron Man isn't the first superhero in this world, he's just one in an entire generation. This means that from the first project and onward, we need to make it feel alive with news footage and Easter eggs in every project, teasing heroes, but also scenes of Spider Man swinging in the background, Deadpool cameos, Taskmaster studying heroes' moves, etc. Another way to do this, in my opinion, is focusing more on TV specials, like the one with Punisher right now, which leads into Spider Man. They could do specials of Jessica Jones or Kamala Khan, who's retelling stories to us viewers. But also, I feel like animated shows that tie into the universe is something they should look into, kind of like how Creature Commandos did for the DCU. And now I've talked a lot about everything being interconnected, that the entire MCU should lead up to one another, but I also feel like it could be a negative thing with too much connection. And I think they shouldn't try to force everything into one overarching saga anymore. That the different teams should have different focuses, different tones, and different threats. For the X-Men, their conflict should be evolution, prejudice, and society. And their grand antagonists should be Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse. Whilst the Fantastic Four are the premier cosmic explorers and their ultimate threat should be Galactus. We've already seen him once, so there shouldn't be a need for a decade-long build-up. Just establishing heralds like Galactus, heralds like Terex in a future Silver Surfer series, and having him be a main villain for a Fantastic Four movie. And make Galactus this looming presence from the first film, a true world ender that brings upon the next team-up movie with Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. And the Avengers in this universe will return to battling technological and militaristic threats, with their primary reoccurring antagonist being AIM, allowing for high-stakes, action-packed adventures that isn't just Thanos or aliens that could grow stronger and stronger, bringing it down and making it more grounded. Then we also have the street level heroes like Daredevil and Spider-Man, and their saga is a war against crime and corruption, with their ultimate foe being Kingpin, of course. And this keeps their stories grounded, personal, and interconnected within the crime world ecosystem. And when these villains ultimately get defeated, you replace them with overarching ones like the Brotherhood of Mutants, Annihilus, and more. Now, I would love for the rebooted MCU to start with an X-Men movie, into a Spider-Man one, into a Fantastic Four one, but I just don't think that's realistic. Usually there's a few years between movies, and both Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four will probably be the main characters of Secret Wars, which is why I've decided to start 2028 exactly like they did in 2008 with the Invincible Iron Man, which is a ground level Iron Man story with Madame Mask as the villain. Ezekiel Stane owns Stark Industries in this world, War Machine and Nick Fury make appearances, and the movie sets up AIM as an organization under Madame Mask and MODOK, and them becoming an underlying threat like Hydra in the MCU. Iron Man's followed up by the first TV series, which is Hawkeye and the Black Widow, which is heavily inspired by Matt Fraction's run in the comics. Clint is in a mentor role similar to last season, and the Magia are the main villains of this story, with them hiring Crossfire to go after Kate's apartment building in central New York. It's already established in this universe that Kate and Jelaine are good friends. Some other characters making appearances are Swordsman, Kingpin, and Nick Fury. The second movie of the reboot is The X-Men. The team is made up of Cyclops, Storm, Beast, Iceman, Angel, Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler, with Mr. Sinister as the main villain and Bolivar Trask as a secondary villain in this movie, which sets up Apocalypse in the future. Magneto also makes an appearance, of course, and you might have noticed that there's no Wolverine, and that's because he's the main character in the next show, which is, of course, the Wolverine. This show is set in multiple different eras with a heavy focus on Weapon X, Sabretooth, and Dr. Cornelius as the villains in this series. But also, we see a lot of the Hand in the episodes set in Japan. The show brushes past World War II stuff, as that's a focus of a later animated show, which is pretty far deep in my MCU's chronological order. The next movie is Black Panther 3, which has Achebe as the main villain, played by Denzel Washington. We see him starting out in refugee camps in Nigeria and then making his way to Wakanda to take over the throne. Here we still have Shuri as a secondary Black Panther to a new T'Challa, probably played by Damson Idris. I think that's the most popular fan cast I've seen. And then we also get a comic accurate Claw, not the Andy Serkis version from Age of Ultron, but in his red and purple suit. Then the next show is Silver Surfer, which is heavily inspired by the comic from 2014 by Dan Slott, which I really recommend if you haven't read yet. And this show will also feature Shalabal. She was so loved in the Fantastic Four movie. And then also Galactus and other heralds. This show sets up the cosmic side of the MCU, and the Silver Surfer travels to a lot of destroyed planets, but also we see Galactus' home planet. And the next project is the first TV special, which is Moon Knight. Everyone wants a season 2, but it doesn't look like any progress has been made on that front, and the movie seems unlikely. He'll probably be a part of a future Midnight Suns team, but I feel like a special is perfect for his character right now. And in this special, it's him and Tigra, with Tigra being a shield agent. We see them evolve romantically whilst fighting Bushman and his grunts. And then after that is the first animated show, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where we have Nick Fury, Dum Dum Dugan, Cloak and Dagger, Mockingbird, and Agent Coulson. And in this show, we get Graviton's origins, but this team isn't strong enough to defeat him, so he'll come back in later live action projects. After this, we finally get Blade, which is a noir inspired Blade story, with him having a decade long rivalry with Dracula. We also see Blade's backstory being shown in the beginning in the 1940s, and how he lives longer than regular people. In this movie, Blade teams up with Elsa Bloodstone and Dane Whitman's Black Knight to defeat Dracula. But we also have Lilith being played by Mia Goth, who kind of pulls the strings but also sets up Mephisto for the future. The next project is a live-action Ant-Man and the Wasp TV show, which has Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne as the main characters. But also we get a lot of Nick Fury with Hank Pym's and his dynamic being the main vocal point of the show, with Nick Fury wanting to throw supervillains away forever, while Hank Pym wants to rehabilitate them. The main plot device for this is the Big House, which is guarded by Ultron robots, which are made by Hank Pym. And the main villain for the show is Whirlwind, kind of like the episode from the animated Avengers show where we see Whirlwind get thrown into the Big House. Then we finally get a sequel to The Fantastic Four, which has Terex as the main villain, and obviously Terex was shown in the Silver Surfer series, so we also get Shalabal and Norrin Rad in this one. And this movie kind of foreshadows Galactus as a bigger event in the future, but also features characters such as Agatha Harkness and Spider-Man. We also dive a lot more deeply into Franklin Richards' powers in this movie. Ghost Rider is the next live-action MCU show in this universe, and it has Blackheart as the villain, but also further sets up Mephisto as kind of like a puppet master for the entire monster side of the MCU, and also has a post-credit scene teasing the Midnight Suns. The next movie is Shang-Chi and the Tournament of the Heavenly Cities, and it's a tournament-based movie, which is kind of obvious, I know, and it's set in Kunlun, where different factions and countries fight for a prize. The tournament is disrupted by Fin Fang Foom, and Shang-Chi and Iron Fist team up to defeat him. Then we have the next TV special of the universe, which is Sentry, and it's a special focus on the mental health aspect of Sentry and Ares, the Greek god, seeking him out after hearing of his strength from Secret Wars. The special also features Hercules and Zeus. After this, we have the first Avengers movie of the new MCU. It isn't as grand as fighting a big universal space alien or something. It's just AIM consisting of MODOK, Taskmaster, and Madame Mask. The team is Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Panther, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Now, Captain America and the Hulk haven't made their live-action debuts for the new MCU, so I think they should find Captain America in the eyes in the beginning and make the entire movie feel kind of like the Avengers animated show Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where Hulk and Captain America aren't really on the team in the beginning, and they just find Captain America and Hulk kind of forces his way in through fighting AIM agents. After the Avengers, it's another season of Daredevil, where it's a continuation of Devil's Reign. I don't know how much we'll see of it in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, but this Daredevil season sets up a Spider-Man and Daredevil movie with Kingpin as the main antagonist in that one. But also, if they haven't decided to do it already in Season 2 of Born Again, they reintroduce Elektra in this one. And then the last project I'm going to talk about today is an animated Future Foundation show set while the Fantastic Four are away for their movie. And it's a team consisting of Moon Girl, She-Hulk, Medusa, and White Wingfoot. And it's kind of a comedy series with Impossible Man as the villain. Every corner of this new, vibrant, comic-accurate universe is now operational. Let me know your thoughts on my phase 1 or whatever you should call it. And I'm planning on making more detailed videos on my scripts for these movies, with the first one being an Iron Man script. And it would mean the world to me if you commented, subscribed, or just liked my posts. I really hope you liked my video, and I'll see you guys next time.